Nation's #1 DJ, DJ Rockwell.
Yo, this is Apocalypse, the lyrical warner, hip-hop revelator. And you rockin' with the nation's #1 DJ, DJ Rockwell, you understand me?
Welcome back. Everybody give yourself a round of applause. Give this audience a round of applause. Give this panelist a round of applause. This is the 100th episode of the Rockwell Radio Show, y'all. We are broadcasting from the Project Torchlight Community Center here in College Park, Georgia. And we're sitting right next door to Akira's Cafe, home of the best salmon burger. I'm telling you, go try it for yourself. Before we begin with round two, again, we want to thank all of our sponsors. We want to thank all of our donors. We want to give a big shout out to Voice of a Nation. Jay DeLay is the man to go to when you need somebody to do your overlays, your vocals. Jay is the guy. We want to give a big shout out also way on the West Coast, our sponsor, the Nation Station 193.0 right there on YouTube. You can Google them by Nation Station. For all of the hip hop you've been hearing on the break, all of that fantastic NOI conscious hip hop, they play that 24/7. Go there, the Nation Station on YouTube to support that. Also, a big shout out to my DJ family, DJs Day Out, for supporting this event. We thank you. Y'all ready to rock?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep moving now, y'all. Check this out. Check this out. Let me get my page, Big Dave. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. The baby having a good time. Yeah. And what I like, speaking of children, I'm so happy to see so many young people in this audience. Yes, because, man, if this ain't for them, what we doing? Right. What we doing? Right. So let's go here for segment 2. Did y'all see that viral video about the teacher who was so upset about the 5-year-old that she was teaching and the whole sexy red comment? Dave, run that tape.
So I'm pretty sure you guys know about the viral ballet teacher who was talking about 5-year-old little girls who wanted to hear Pound Town instead of listening to some princess music.
I have never experienced, and I'm 22. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I teach 5-year-olds ballet. And another thing that's heart-wrenching is horrifying. It is horrifying. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Pound Town and Ski Yee.
Sexy Red responded to this, a teacher who seems genuinely concerned about these kids, and the Sexy Red responded and said, "Girl, play Pound Town Ski and shut the F up."
I see it all the time. Parents will be like, you have a responsibility because kids are watching. You hear that? Cardi B had that same problem, and Nicki had that same problem. Do you feel that same way? Like, raise your own kids?
I feel like I used to, but now it's just like, like f your kids.
Bro, Jamoul, can I let the sisters handle this one?
Yes, please, sir.
We got something.
I hear some steam coming out of the audience on that one, man. Did you hear that collective gasp today?
Yes.
Sisters.
Yes, sir.
Audience, y'all all right? Sisters, let me start with y'all. Matter of fact, I'm going to deal just with y'all on this one. What does it say about us, the consumer, the rap fan, if we let the people that we make rich and famous turn around and say, your kids? What does that say about us?
Well, I think we should hold them accountable. What y'all say? Okay. And one of the things, in ways to hold them accountable is by, one, being that example. Because we know that in the Nation of Islam, we're taught that 75% of the work is with the woman. And everybody, it's a saying that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, and then with the second self of God. So we have a responsibility, to our children, to the youth, to the community, to put positive energy out there and positive messages, because these children, just like the Dr. Seuss books that they read, they learn from these lyrics, and this is what they're wanting. And so that response, I don't agree with what Sexy Red had to say about that. It's like, no, like forget the children, let it play. No. So we have to take responsibility and take control of what our children are listening to, what they're watching on TV, what they're, pulling up on the internet, check behind them. Don't just let them do their thing, because children will be children. They need guidance. So yes, we should be responsible enough and then say, hey, look, let's not, listen to Sexy Red or whatever it is. I don't personally know her music like that, but I've heard of her, and just seeing that, I'm like, whoa, the mindset, that's definitely not the mindset that we want for the elevation of our children. So yeah, we can't support her. And that message, of course, yeah.
I 1,000% agree.
Yes, ma'am.
They have this as the cancel culture.
Yeah.
And so for that, she would be canceled. Because, like Sis said, we as parents, as mothers, we have a dual responsibility to protect our children.
Yes.
And even if we hold artists accountable and responsible, if they're allowing them to play this type of music, if they're allowing them to put these things out, then what can we do? The only thing we can do is cancel, but we have that responsibility to, like she said, not allow our children to listen, to hear this music. And like she said, I have been around children where they know the whole song. They know the lyrics of everything. And I, too, was a child, and I may have not been listening to Sexy Red, but I was listening to R. Kelly when I was young. And, when I was listening to R. Kelly, I was singing all the words to some of the music. 12 Play, I knew all the songs and all the words until I got older, and I realized, wow. Mm-hmm. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, even to my mom, I'm like, why you had me listening to R. Kelly? She was like, honey, I was just playing it in the house. That was my cleanup music. And I'm like, but we're so careless that we think that just playing it in the car, that playing it anywhere, that it doesn't affect our children, and it does. And during those ages, like, prior to even 18, when our children are babies in the womb, right, they connect to us. They can hear what's going on outside of the womb. And then as they get older, between the ages of like 1 and 6, like that's the time where they're listening and literally, taking on and recording everything that they see and hear. And even though we may not know, we may not understand it, but they'll replay it back. And if you go to like child care centers and daycares, when you're around these children, just let them play by themselves for a minute, because you'll hear it. You'll hear how they, talk to one another. And it was another clip. It was a girl. She was like, singing some song, it's What It Is, Ho, or something like that. And the children are just singing it.
What's the...
Yes, and even my daughter, like, I don't play any of that, but my daughter somehow was around someone where she was just bopping to it and singing it. And just like the mom in the video, I had to ask her, I said, do you know what that means? And she was like, no, but I like the way it sounds. And I'm like, no, like, we're not going to just pick this up and listen to it. So I think it's more so our responsibility to just cut it off, like not listening to it in our cars, not support, not buy. We have to cancel it because it's not for us. Even though we can learn from it and they may have their responsibility, but our responsibility as parents is to just cut that out for our children.
Big Dave, I'm going to take a quick left turn.
You can cut that off, but as we all know it, and you just said, they get it from somewhere still. They go and get it from somewhere. So how do we intersect and address that with our children without destroying what they like, what they love, what they attach to, so that they don't recoil and run away even harder in that direction? How do we do it in that way?
And on that note, I'm gonna toss I'm gonna go off script for a minute, Dave.
Come on, go ahead.
Brother Jamoul, is canceling the answer?
You always give me the definitive questions. I don't believe that we should cancel any of our people. You know, we got to get to the bottom line, right? Hip hop, just like every aspect of black life, takes on a different light when it's connected to these teachings. See, this body of knowledge we can't underestimate, right? See, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us very pregnant sentences. Accept your own and be yourself.
That's right.
Every time you look at a black man or woman, regardless of their condition, you're looking at God, right?
That's right.
See, and these teachings have to be reckoned with, because what we saw in hip hop, when it was connected to higher levels of consciousness, it produced a permeating result in the masses of our people, right? That created what we call the golden age of hip hop, 85 to 98. I marked the end of the golden age of hip hop with Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album, where she is a song, and the hook on the song is, "Come on, baby, light my fire. Music is supposed to inspire. How come we not getting no higher?" Right? That's a question she asked 25 years ago. That's a question that we have to answer 25 years later, right? Because the music is not inspiring because it is not connected to the root of that which inspires us, which is the God, right? Which is self, which is our higher consciousness, which is our ability to create from an artistic expression. And art is just short for artificial. It is a slowed down, smaller version of what life really is. It's artificial, so it's art. And you can learn so much and teach children by it because they can pick it up. It has rhythm, right? See, black children, we relate differently anyway, right? When I was growing up, we had Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Y'all remember that? Come on, put on your shoes, right? And then we had Sesame Street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? We picked up on that information through the vibration and the frequency and rhythmic expression through Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. No disrespect to Mr. Rogers, but it bored me half to death, right? But it's levels to this thing. So we can use hip hop, we can use Sexy Red or whomever. They're still a part of us. To cancel them is to give up on their potential, and that is not the spirit of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's not the spirit of the Nation of Islam. That is not the spirit of what we have been called to do. So I think we just need to continue to teach, because if you know better, you'll do better.
Come on, y'all. Now, we're almost at the end. Again, we want to thank everybody for coming out to the 100th episode of the Rockwell Radio Show. We are here at the Project Torchlight Community Center. And again, we want to thank Brother Stanley, his family, and the Kira's Cafe. Make sure that you order some of that great food next door before you go. And again, we're going to open up the floor for question and answer in just a few more minutes. And I want to hear from you all out in the audience today. Yes. But we got 1 or 2 more questions to do before we do that. Big Dave, let's keep it moving. Let's go here. We all saw D1 do that interview with Sway in the morning. And since we're talking about holding hip-hop accountable, Karis, one said we are hip-hop, so that means we also got to hold us accountable as consumers. As consumers of the art. Let's listen to what D1 had to say further on that note.
As artists, I'm just like, bro, we can't use that excuse no more. The labels just wanted me to do that. And we can't use the excuse. That's what the fans want. You know what? With the fans, I'm going to say this, the last thing. With the fans, y'all really don't want to see nothing different. Like people don't want that real. They just say that they do. Because if y'all wanted to see something different, there's enough artists who are offering you different type of music with the message that you claim you want. Enough of y'all don't want that because we have become addicted to the delicious poison that is the rap game and what's been pushed on us for so long. Fans, if y'all want something different, I talk about this in my college course. I need you to become what's called a consumer activist. That means that as a consumer, you understand that you have the power to be an activist as well. And your purchasing power and what you choose to support is a form of activism. So if you don't want to hear no more of this type of music, don't support it.
What more can you say?
Right.
What more can you say?
That's
I want
right.
to start with my sisters. We'll come all the way across the room with this one. Now, Sister Victoria, on that note, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that when we reach 100% dissatisfaction, it is only then that we can see 100% change, right?
That's right.
So having said that, as it relates to the consumer, what more is it going to take? If we got 5-year-olds twerking and listening to songs, what more does it take?
Wow. I think that's enough right there to say, hey, look, let's say no, enough is enough. You know, we are the consumers. So we can say, hey, look, we don't want any more of this, and we don't have to support them. But like brother is saying, you know, we've been addicted to the delicious poison, you know, and so we have to look at ourselves and say, okay, we have to find responsibility within ourselves to say, okay, we can't continue to support this. We don't want this in our homes. You know, we want to instill the right values in our children so that when they do hear certain things, they're like, oh no, this don't sound right. Let me step away from this. So we really have to take a proactive approach in, you know, parenting, because that's really where it all starts. You know, I know oftentimes our children, you know, they're not homeschooled. My children are homeschooled. I'm blessed to be able to homeschool them. But, you know, some people are sending their children off to other people, and that's kind of like their parents away from home. So they're pretty much raising your children. So then you got to be very mindful in the environment, you know, that your children are in, and that it's conducive to what it is that you desire for the upbringing and wellness of their mind and spirit. But it's time to say, hey, enough is enough. And we are the consumers. We can put a stop to that, and we can make a change. Because like you say, 100% dissatisfaction brings 100% change. That's what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaching to us, and that is right and exact.
Sister DeQuayla?
Yes, sir. I know in 2003, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did like an interview with 50 Cent and Jamoul, I believe. Yes. I think I was like 16. And it was very influential to me at that time. She mentioned parenting, being able to express what it looks like to society when you all are beefing and what it does to our community. And so we, as like I was saying earlier, I don't mean to cancel our artists, definitely not. You know, I love our artists and they express themselves in the way they do, but canceling that music, that type of music that is bringing our children and our youth down to the lowest point. We have to just change it. Like she said, enough is enough. We have to stand up. We have to introduce different type of music where they can still express. Like I like Heck of a Mecca. I love her.
Shout out Heck of a Mecca.
Heck of a Mecca. She's one of my favorite. I know all her songs. But I love the fact that I can drive around and my children can hear her music, and I don't have to worry about them repeating what's being said or the music that's being said. They're singing Joshua, you know, and I love that. But if I put on anything else, now I have to come back and I have to reprogram them to tell them, okay, this is what this means, and mommy don't want you to say that. I don't want to have to do that. So we as parents, we do owe it to our children to change that narrative. We don't have to consume it, but that means in my mind, when I say cancel, it means cancel it out. It doesn't exist. We have to it's there and they're going to express it, but allow our children to create their own music. Show them different instruments and tell them that you can be the change that you want to see now. We don't want to hear this type of music, but show us what you can produce. We can tell them that, and then we can also, again, introduce them to other artists that can still give them that style of hip-hop, that beat of hip-hop, to still give them what they want to hear, but in a way that is, you know, conductive to our communities and our generation.
Beautiful. Brother Jamoul?
Yeah, I like to think about it because you can't, it's almost impossible to talk about consumerism without talking about being producers, right? It's only one side of the equation. You know, we're talking about the importance of controlling what we consume, but we are weakened in that effort if we don't take control and produce stuff, right? Produce an environment where you can put people in a place where they can consume the things that are productive for them, right? So, I love D1's spirit, right? I would have loved, and I think, and I know that these conversations happen behind closed doors, because when we air out our grievances, right, with each other in the public, we allow the door to be open for that to be used against us, right? That conversation is just as productive behind closed doors in an environment, right, where we can talk as brothers and sisters to produce the things that we need so that we can put things out to be consumed. And then we have a circle of economics, right, that now can reproduce those things as well. So this conversation needs to happen, right? But it has to happen in a way that love and the spirit of unity has to be also encouraged. And we can't condemn each other like that, right? I'm not saying that's what my brother did. I'm just saying that because that's what I'm feeling right now. It's so easy for us to condemn each other when we are the victims of circumstance, right? These young people are saying the things that they heard and that they saw, that their minds have, right? And we can say, well, this has been financed, this has been pushed out there, and we don't have to buy it. But also, we also have to be responsible and take accountability. And accountability really means taking responsibility for your actions without blaming somebody else, right? So who's to blame here, right? But we can control a level of controllables here, right? We can control what we buy, but we also can work hard and produce things, an environment. I mean, we're free to make the music that we can make. You can pick up your phone and you can put music out without the red tape and all of the things that we had to want to do before, right? We're freed now. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said Steve Jobs was sent from God because with the advent of the iPhone, he's freed us. And we have a pocket computer, right? So we don't have to be tied down and restricted by the things that we once were. So let's produce as well as consume.
DJ Rockwell, the enemy,
Yes, sir.
The enemy got us confused and mixed up, coming and going. Cancel this, cancel that person. When you go through the Dianetic process, the auditing process, what gets canceled? Is it the person or the engram?
Say that. Big one, big one. Y'all, now this is a two-part question. And Brother Jamal, I wanted the sisters to handle this one. Certainly. Now, Red eventually took the tweet down, I saw, because there was a bit of a bad, pushback from the people.
Absolutely.
So, and here's what she said she would do as a result of that. She said, well, I'm going to put out some kids bop to make music for the children, she said. Okay. But here's the question. That might be a nice gesture. That might be a nice, thing to say. But does the community still suffer if I give you medicine in this hand and poison in this hand?
Absolutely. Do you want to? Okay. Yeah, so the community certainly suffers. My sister, she be saying so many powerful things. I'm like, okay, you want to handle this one, sister, first? But I'm going to go first. But yeah, the community continues to suffer, because if we are, given, like Brother said, poison in the left hand and in the right hand, okay, here's some medicine, it's like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it was something, someone was doing something. He said, brother, you're putting, dirt in the clean glass of water that I'm trying to give my people a drink out of. So the medicine and the poison, it doesn't mix, because it's still poison when you mix it together, So they have to be separated, just like the clean glass and the dirty glass, So when you see the clean glass, okay, that's the example, but the dirty glass is definitely not, So, sometimes they can do more harm than good, and it's kind of like a level of deception there, unless there's a true change that takes place to say, okay, I denounce, what I said earlier, and that was not appropriate. And children, this is not the way, but this is the way. Now, if she's coming that way, hey, you know what I mean? I'm with that. But other than that, it's like, okay, you don't want to mix poison, with the medicine.
That was a very interesting point you made, that there needs to be, in between the two, a denunciation. Go ahead, sis.
Yes, sir. I remember the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan saying, I guess he was quoting from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he wanted his mind to align, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mind to align with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's mind, so that there becomes one mind. We have to understand that music is deeper than just the surface. We can listen to it again, we can listen to the beats of the music, but it goes really, really deep. And it plays into our subconscious mind and our psyche. And so just off of, again, what she mentioned, and then to take that down and then say, I'm going to produce some more music, you still have the same mindset that you feel about our children.
That's right. Come on.
And that's the issue for me. Because if you don't really care about our children, if you don't care about the youth, if you don't care about yourself, then you're portraying and pushing this out into our culture. You're pushing this out. And so we're raising children that, again, don't love themselves. We're raising youth that are learning that, I hate myself in ways that they don't even understand why they feel the way they feel.
Right.
And so, again, like we said earlier, we have a duty for ourselves that we can consume it or not. If your mindset is not lining up right, then I don't want my children to listen to anything that you have to produce. And that goes to anyone. I don't care who it is. If you have a book and I study you, who you are as an author, and I realize where your mind is and what you want to put out into the world, then I'm not going to read that to my child, depending on what it is. And so, again, if you hate children, I'm not, I don't care what lullaby you have. There's some type of subliminal in that, to me personally, that is going to rub off on my children. So we have to wake up. We have to give our children love, and we have to give that to them in ways that, will uplift them and motivate them. We giving them motivational music in the morning. If we're letting them listen to lectures that are positive, they may not understand it now, but when they grow up, they will understand. There's things that my mother said to me when I was younger that she may not think that I remember, or that, it's still in my thoughts. But those, positive things that my mother said to me motivated me as a woman, helped me to understand myself and how to love and understand myself as I grew up. But if we're not showing this and giving this to the children, then we're going to keep creating a certain generation of children, and we're going to keep blaming it on who?
Come on, y'all.
Who are we going to blame it on? Because at this point, we have to blame it on ourselves.
Come on now. Y'all give a round of applause for this great panel, y'all.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Vaughn Muhammad of the Rockwell Radio Show. For years, I've been hearing the same thing from a lot of people. Brother Vaughn and DJ Rockwell are completely two different people. So I came up with a way to separate the both of us, and perhaps we can get along better if we try it this way. Introducing DJ Rockwell. What we're going to try to do is do this together and not get on one another's nerves. Every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, check out your brother Vaughn Muhammad and this guy, DJ Rockwell.
When last time you bought a Final Call?
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, man. You see what I'm saying? We always want to talk. I mean, this is what I'm not doing. Yeah, everybody go buy a Final Call tomorrow. Everybody who watched it. The Muslims shouldn't have no papers in their hand tomorrow. Because you know what the Muslims gonna do with the money?
True.
They're gonna create other Muslims.
True.
You know what the Muslims gonna do? They're gonna keep your neighborhood safe. They're gonna show your little girl ain't nothing wrong with wearing a long dress. They're gonna teach your children they're the original people on earth. So you know what that little $2 gonna do. So go and spend that little $2.
True. True.
That's it.
True.
That's it. That's it.
Assalamu alaikum. This is your brother Nuri Muhammad, and whenever I'm searching for a source or a platform that I can get some news that I can use, I look forward to and look at, watch and listen to the Rockwell Radio Show. And I hope you would do the same.
We are now at the point of the program where we're going to talk to y'all. We're going to open the question and answer session up because normally when we do this online, Dave can't even keep up with all of the posts. But now y'all sitting right in front of me so I can look right in your face. So since my brother is here, since he came and took out of his time, I just want to get a microphone to Minister Server to say whatever he want to say to the people.
That's right. That's right.
Sir.
First of all, thank you for having me here, Brother Rockwell. Excellent panel. Give it up for the panel, man. Excellent conversation. And as you know, this is a conversation that we've been having for 20, 30 years. For those that may not know me, I am Minister Server. I'm the former national organizer with the Temple of Hip Hop and the spiritual advisor for KRS-One. I'm also the former director of the Universal Zulu Nation for the state of Georgia. I work with a number of different organizations around the world, and our goal has always been the same goal. I'm like you are. I'm from the era where we knew that hip hop was God's gift to us, where we it was a term we should use called edutainment, where education and entertainment. So these conversations, particularly in this Hip Hop 50, has been good for us to have because right now, as the brother said, we don't really need them to do anything for us at this point, but it is a matter of us learning about ourselves. One of the quotes that I love that the minister says is, self-improvement is the basis for community development. So we have to, take it within ourselves to do it. And one of the things, particularly as we go forward, one of the things that we're asking, I'm also the director of Hip Hop Ministries and Hip Hop Bridge Builders. Hip Hop, we use the acronym Higher Infinite Powers, Healing Our People. That's what hip hop is for us. So we talk about where do we go from here? We have 50 years by the work of the ancestors and God's grace and sheer will. But particularly with our young people, we ask ourselves, where do we go from here? And one of the things we want to talk about continually is the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. For those that may not know, in 2001, we went to the United Nations to establish hip hop as an international culture for peace and prosperity. So there are 18 principles, no names, no organizations, principles that we aspire to. So we want to endeavor to share that with you all as well in 2024 to start linking with other organizations as well, for sure. But I do have a question for the panel. I know there's a number of dope artists in the nation that are doing great things. What are some of the things that the nation is doing to get those artists out more to kind of balance off some of the other things that are going on?
There goes that consumer activism again.
Yes.
Well, that's a great question, right? And it reminds me of Busta Rhymes' acceptance speech when he got the Lifetime Achievement Award. And his mind, in that one of the points that he made in the speech was the elders have to connect back to the younger generation. And that's what I see the Nation of Islam is a great conduit, is to really to connect the history of hip hop to this young generation, this younger generation that is in a lot of ways disconnected to the root of hip hop. Right? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was the minister in New York over Muhammad Mosque, or Temple number 7, where he had over 5,000 active members in the Nation of Islam and a mother mosque and 18 satellites. By my math, that's 19 mosques in the greater New York area. And he was on the radio, right, 6 times a week, representing the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and on those airwaves. And that all took place in the early 1970s, which is the same time we saw the environment that birthed hip-hop music.
That's
right? I don't know how many of these beautiful young people between the age of 18 and 34 actually know the environment that birthed the music that is so influential to their whole generation. Can they connect the dots, right? Can they like take the linear pattern in history of the 50 years of hip hop and start to see, okay, this happened, so that happened. This happened, so that happened. So the work that you're doing, right, and connecting the elders back to the youth, that's the answer. And you don't have to be a part of the Nation of Islam to actually do that. But I believe that's a part of what our responsibility is, because the Nation of Islam is so intimately close to hip hop music because of the content that was in the music from the very beginning that reflects the teachings and overtly just quotes it.
That part.
Word is born. That comes right out of our lessons.
Assalamu alaikum, right?
Right? You hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan right now on lyrics.com has 365 references in music. That's not in any other genre of music but hip hop music, right? So can we connect the dots? I think that's where our job is.
All right, sisters, y'all want to touch that?
I mean, I just want to add, and brother already said it, we just have to be consumers. We can't, we see the artists, we have to support them. We got to go to their shows. We have to buy the music. We have to play it. We have to put it on, just like we'll play our little songs on social media. Put the new artists on there. Show your video so we know that there is something, like the brother said. We can't make excuses now and say that it doesn't exist, because we're choosing. It's music for any genre that you want to listen to. So just put it out and be supporters and consumers.
And it turns out, brother, your question was actually right up my alley. The Rockwell Radio Show primarily exists as a platform to give exposure to NOI artists.
Wonderful.
Anybody else have a comment or question?
Peace and blessings. My question is, how do you inspire self-awareness in the people who do consume the music? Because most of us, we consume what we relate to. Like women like 60 Red, I don't judge her because I understand she's a product of where she came from. Usually someone that's real promiscuous, something probably happened to them when they were younger. So how do you inspire that self-awareness in the people who do consume it, that they can become aware of, why do I relate to this? And is this something I do want to continue to relate to?
Well, I say personally, to be able to allow them to see themselves as gods, relating to, music that's educational, music that uplifts the spirit of people, music that makes us conscious, because true hip hop is a way of life, and it's consciousness, is rooted in righteousness. And so what the enemy has done and is doing is giving us something other than that which was the originality of, hip hop, but just seeing ourselves, like brother was saying earlier, we are all God's children of the Most High God. When you look in the face of the black man and woman, you're looking in the face of God. And so when you see yourself there, then now the level of education, the level of vibration, it comes up, opposed to being on a lower level. So yes.
Yeah. So who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. It starts right there, right? When we introduce our people to themselves, right, we will lose the appetite for that which is counterproductive to what it is that this life is all about, right? So until that happens, so that's each one teach one. That's one at a time. But we can use the music to do that. Yes. Right? And so, Sexy Red, I believe, isn't she expecting a child? Yep. See, I think about her like I think about Tupac. See, Tupac was murdered at age 25. But but before he got murdered, he was frozen in time. Like that expression of him at 20 something was all he was ever gonna be. Right? And the media, right, had him frozen like he was never going to evolve. But when you listen to his music, you can see that he didn't represent a monolithic gangster nothing. He had many sides. And imagine what Tupac, where he would be at 45 or 55, right? And if he took us along that journey with him in music through hip hop and movies, right? And spoken word and poetry and writing and books and activism, which is all the things that he impacted our community with at the age of 25. So where Sis is at now is not the end, right? There's an evolutionary process that we must allow everybody to go on a journey. My mentor, Minister Emeritus Don Muhammad in Boston, said, man, you got to be careful how you cut a man down while he's in development. And so we just need to just sit back and watch and see, will the elders surround an individual such as this to continue to not give up on them and teach them, right? We got to hold them accountable, but we're not going to throw you away because you have tremendous value, right? And I think that's the where we need to go with that.
Two more questions. Anybody else? Young brother out here, listen. Hear from the young God.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So, with all that you're talking about hip hop and conscious artists and stuff like that, I think it's always important when you address a problem to bring a solution, basically. So this brought to mind some of the artists that we do have in the nation. Like there's Neelam, right? There's Havaka Mecca, you mentioned Hole. There's here in Atlanta we have Danique. Then there's someone else, what's his name? Golden Child in Chicago. If you know any others, you could mention them as well. I remember there was also
Right here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What else was it? Oh yeah, so it's not rap or hip hop, but there was this like pop group that was in the nation. What was it? Anu, yeah. I used to be like a big fan of them. Unfortunately, I don't think they do songs anymore. But yeah, that was cool. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Wonderful.
Beautiful, yes.
Peace, family.
Peace.
My question to you all is, I know we've been addressing most of the negative aspect of hip hop today, but is there any artist that you can think of, whether mainstream or underground or whatever, that you feel is still holding the basis or the most important part of hip hop and where it came from? Like in terms of like my artists and the people that we listen to, like, is there any artist that you hear on the radio and you're like, okay, they're not too far gone, or they still know what hip hop is? Like, is there any artist for you that you hear? Can you name them?
A great question. Me and sister, we were talking earlier about Lauryn Hill. You know, I know that she's not out there and doing a lot of work like she used to, but every now and then she has appearances. What is his name? Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick Lamar. I mean, he's so conscious, excuse me for being so close to the mic, but yeah, he's so conscious minded. And to me, I think that he's certainly not too far away from what hip hop is intended to be. So yeah, anybody else, y'all?
I'm in agreement.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say Kendrick and Cole.
Yeah.
Right?
J. Cole.
So when you, if you have it, do yourself a favor and listen to J. Cole's album, K.O.D.
That's right.
Kids on Drugs, right? And the album, just the art on the album cover of a drug addicted, right, shell of us. It was a cartoon image of himself. And I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm buying this album because I like Cole, but I didn't know where he was going with it. And then he did a song, and the climax of the song was, don't medicate, meditate. That's all I needed to hear, right? Because at the end of the day, we are still dealing with post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? Trauma that's been passed on to us generationally. And so whatever we do as Black people, this is going to be a slow train to turn. You know, when you're trying to turn a train, you got to turn it slow, unless the train will derail. And there's ways to do it strategically through the music without alienating the base of your audience, right? Which is the individuals, like Brother was talking about, from the environments that the music reflects. And I think J. Cole and Kendrick and others are great examples. And they're not even most recent, right? You got another generation of artists, like Lil Baby that my son listens to, and he puts me on to him. There's a whole nother young crew of artists that has a lot of beautiful expression in their music. I think we can just pick apart all of it. Sometimes I listen to stuff I shouldn't be listening to, Brother Vaughn. I'm sorry.
We all do.
I just changed the lyrics.
Yeah, right.
Right? All right. I won't say the N-word, but I might say something like I'm going to focus the energy because I have consciousness, right? That's to answer your question.
I hear you, Tommy. You want something to say something, Tommy? You want to say something, Tommy?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, brother.
Yes. You know, I'm just bearing witness to what everyone is saying, but I think the solution has been mentioned several times. Is the consumer habit. You know, we gotta really, if we want the artists that we're talking about to have a more constructive message, we're just gonna have to, you know, put our money behind that, because the enemy is investing billions of dollars in these false messages, derailing hip hop off its original course. And it's going around the corner fast on the train, derailing it. So they spend so much money. We gotta spend equal or at least a greater effort in keeping the train on track, getting hip hop back where it was. And other than that, we're gonna always be competing with the mass propaganda, the mass media push of the other images that really not, you know, healthy for us. And I also too wanna highlight not throwing our people away. You know, I remember when Ice Cube was on his journey and he was leaving NWA and the minister told him, you know, brother, don't lose your audience and change too quick. You know, so he basically told him just gradually inject some of the knowledge in the music and then, you know, bring the people along with you gradually. So that's the wisdom too that we have to deal with on the consumer side when we encourage our friends and family to gradually move away from what they are addicted to, which is the delicious terms I use it. Yeah, the poison. So we're addicted to the poison. That's one of the reasons why we attracted to it. I tell people about the Rockwell Show. I was like, yo, check this out, because you got dope content, you know. And I'm a hip hop head. And I'm a b-boy. You know, I come from, you know. That was. But anyway.
That sounds like some 9 Ministries type stuff.
Say that now, Big Dave.
That's right.
Right.
We got another question.
We do where? All right, let's make this the last question. We got to close out.
Assalamu alaikum. Can we stop labeling rappers in the Nation of Islam as NOI rap? Hip hop is hip hop, no matter where it comes from. And when you put Nation of Islam in front of it, it gives a certain stigma. You know how we're stereotypically written as the bow tie and bean pie men? And they're, oh, them Muslim brothers, oh, they were Farrakhan. It adds something to it, and people are automatically going to assume, as my sister said, that the music is going to be corny. Which also brings me to this. Every person, as my brother said, is not meant to be a rapper. There are a list of really good artists who happen to be members of the Nation of Islam, and there are also people in our ranks, no names, that have no business passing out mixtapes. We have to be able to veto this content, because this content at the end of the day is a representation of us. It is not necessarily Nation of Islam rap or NOI rap, but these artists are coming from the Nation of Islam. So they have to be able to represent us in the best way. If it's garbage, it's garbage. But you have to say it in the best way, obviously. You don't want to break the brother or sister's heart. And ending it with this, we have to have some sort of hip-hop database of all of our artists. It's not just Golden Child, it's not just Donique, it's not just Uyim. You better stop. I mean, we have so many artists, both young and old. I haven't heard anyone mention K Rhino. I haven't heard anyone mention Greyco. New World out of Chicago. There are so many. There's so many. We have to keep up with all of them and push them out. Follow them on social media. Buy their music on Apple Music. Stream them, something. Because we can't say we want to support these artists and they're putting out this content and barely anyone is seeing it. It's even gotten to the point of where they're trying to lean on those on the outside to listen to their music because they feel like if we cater to this specific audience, we won't get the support. I've heard Problem 13 say this. My own father
say that he can't get the support he needs to on the inside, so he feels he needs to go to outside. That shouldn't be said in the Nation of Islam. It should start with us and extend to our people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my pops. And that's all.
Vetoed.
That's also the word. So we learn consume and veto. Can I respond to that?
Yeah, sure.
Can I say? And I want to be really, really to the point. First thing, one of our sponsors tonight is the Nation Station 193.0 on YouTube. You can go to YouTube right now and check out the Nation Station 193.0, who plays constant NOI hip hop 24/7 of all of the artists. It is the only station of its kind available 24/7, and they were so gracious to sponsor this event tonight. Can we please give NOI Chronicles a round of applause?
That's right.
He does this out of his own pocket. He takes no money from the artist. It's a monthly expense to him for the server, and he does it with a smile. So when he stepped up to be a sponsor for this event, I said, brother, we are lifelong partners, whether you like it or not.
That's right.
On the idea of labeling NOI hip hop, in fact, I coined the term NOI hip hop several years ago. And people have actually raised that exact same point to me before. Brother, you're painting yourself into a circle. You're painting into a corner. Why would you, considering that everybody is not friendly with the nation, why would you put the term NOI in front of hip hop? Here's why. I decided that if singers who sing about the goodness of their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, can call themselves gospel artists, if they can come up with a whole genre of music dedicated to that purpose and that mission and call it gospel, and I happen to know the real Messiah, how come I can't say this hip hop is dedicated to a nation of peace? That was my answer. That's why I said, you know what? I'm going to stand on that. And hopefully the term will stick. If gospel can be a genre, why can't this kind of hip hop be a genre?
Right. Absolutely.
That's my answer. That's my answer. Let's close out, y'all.
Beautiful.
We want to close out with a quote from my big brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. They put it on the screen real quick. Dr. Wesley Muhammad once said this. He said, hip hop is like a beautiful black stallion. Whoever is saddled atop it and holds its reins in their hands can determine, or at least help determine, the fate of Black America. Wow. The black stallion, hip hop, can lead Black people towards redemption, or it can lead us to degradation and doom. Then he closes by asking, who's riding hip hop? I would like our panel to make their closing statements be a response to Brother Wesley's quote. I'll start with my sisters and I end with Brother Jamoul.
Wow. So,
Mike?
Oh, yes. So just thinking about hip hop and how it started, it just takes me right back to that. Who's riding hip hop today? That's definitely a question that we should ask ourselves. And we understand the face of hip hop is us, Black people. But the messages oftentimes are for someone who is behind it, pushing us to sell a certain ideal to our people, which is destructive. So then we have to become now the person or the people who ride hip hop, into elevation. So now that's taking us back to responsibility, and accountability in hip hop, giving the solutions, as the young brother said, to the problems that our people face, because those problems are out there and they exist. And through hip hop, we can connect with our people and give them the avenue and the resources and the information and the education to help them see a better world, a better existence, to see themselves as being, gods. Because when you look in the face of the Black man and woman, you are certainly looking into the face of God. So that was what I would have to say about that.
All right now.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I would like to add, we have to be, like the sister said, the face that we want to see. If you want to hear a different music genre, tell the artist what you want to hear. You want something that relates to your life, tell them what you want to hear that relates to the brother's question. Because I know that, I'm here in the nation, and, thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Thank you for me taking and consuming what he has given from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in this time. But I desire to consume my mind with light, and I want our people to have that same mindset. And so we have to get out here as a people and teach, and we have to be the ones to tell the artists and express to them what we want to hear. And what we should want to hear is the light. So we have to be the ones writing right now and expressing like, okay, I was here, but I got here. Like he said, we may be in he mentioned Tupac. We may be in a certain time frame, but that's not the end of our life. It's not the end until that dot is at the end. So we got to continue to let them know that we're not just here right now. We have the future. The future is in our hands. The future is in the youth's hands. So express what it is that you all want to feel, what you want to see, the type of emotion that you want to feel in the music. And we have to be the consumers and the writers. Like the sister said, we have to hold the accountability and responsibility.
Jamoul, the final word is yours, sir.
This question or this statement of Dr. Wesley reminds me of something I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say in a lecture in the 80s. He did it in the Final Call building. And he was talking about young people like in the clubs, in the discotheque, I believe is what he said. Some of y'all don't know what the discotheque is. He said, even there, God has found you. You're in there just dancing, right? You're giving yourself and your time to recreational activities like this in the club because you're trying to figure it out, right? We are the people of God. Yes. Hip hop is just a byproduct of us trying to figure it out. But the Nation of Islam and the body of knowledge that we represent cuts all of that away. You don't have to try to figure it out. Correct. This consciousness has been given to us specifically for our condition. So when we think about the expression of hip hop and what it means to our people, and what it is and what it could be, and if it's weaponized, what it could do, all we have to remember is we have to connect it to the framework of the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that has cleared all of the mystery out of it, right? We don't have to believe in a mystery God anymore. We know the true and living God, right? Hip-hop is a beautiful expression of that. Because it takes you into a higher consciousness to even be able to pull lyrics down in a way where other people can relate to it over a beat through memorized lyrics. That is the Quran moving off the pages. So we must understand that what we have been given is enough, right? And hip hop is just another way to express it. So who's writing hip hop? We decide who that is, right? And hip hop is not a spooky entity. It's people, right? We can't forget that. It's a collection of people with something to say. Hip hop is freedom music, right? It can free us, but it also has the ability to bind us in. So we just have to use it the right way. That's what? Did I say something?
I think you said it.
All praises due to Allah.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, Big Dave, we did it. 100 episodes, y'all. Please give a round of applause to this beautiful panel. Sister Victoria X, Sister Taquela Muhammad, Brother Jamoul Muhammad. Y'all, we want to thank our sponsors once again, Voice of the Nation. We want to thank our sponsor, The Nation Station 193.0 on YouTube. We want to thank DJs Day Out. We want to thank every person who donated to make this happen. But above all, I want to thank you who came out from your houses, your places, your neighborhoods to be with your brother to help a dream happen today that came true because of y'all. Big Dave, we did it, my brother.
We did it.
Right.
We are out of here.
That's right. Happy 100th episode.
Yes, congratulations.
And in terms of the panel and my sisters, of course, my panel of sisters were awesome. Their insight, the way they view hip hop, and they bring a femininity and the feminine voice, the voice of the woman to hip hop. I love that, of course.
The topic of those chosen, holding hip hop accountable, is a beautiful topic because it allows us to pay attention to what's being brought into our minds and how we allow them into our lives.
I think it was a good contrast of both the positive and negative aspects of hip hop, because I think some people focus on the positive and some people focus on the negative. And I think that today it brought to light both sides of it and how much impact music has on our generation today, and how, like they were talking about, the cancel culture and how we shouldn't cancel our people because they're still growing in development just like we are. You know?
I think the show was amazing. I learned a lot today. A lot of the things that they said were on point. As a hip hop artist myself, I 100% agree with the fact that we have to make sure that what we put in our music is good for our children, and we shouldn't be where our children listening to are not able to listen to our music, but it should be where we should feel happy and proud to allow our children to listen to our music. So
hip hop is such an important aspect of Black culture and the things that we embrace today, and just being able to be a part of this taping and to see all the responses and everything that the panel was talking about, it really did my heart some good. So
First time ever being on a talk show that is a podcast, so that was a wonderful experience. Only in the Nation of Islam. As far as the questions that were asked, I felt everything was covered really well in terms of talking about the status of hip hop, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what we can do to bring it back to how it used to be. So everything was covered.
So my experience, I would say, I did not know what to expect in coming here, but I'm glad that I did. I know Brother Jamoul was a very intelligent brother, but tonight, the way that he put his responses together, it makes me have an even greater appreciation for a brother such as him, because what he did for me was remind me that we should not throw away our people who are living a certain life. But what stuck out to me the most about what he said is, someone mentioned the term consumer activism, and he said it's not just good that we, I'm paraphrasing, it's not just good that we are consumers and that we show support by consuming, but we also be producers.
And use hip hop instead of a weapon of hurting our people, but as a positive movement to just help our people. So that's what I thought. I thought it was beautiful, and it was a great event today.
Peace and blessings. It's your guy, I Am. Man, it was an honor to sit on the Brothers 100th episode. It was my first episode tuning in, but it definitely won't be my last episode tuning in.
The panel itself was phenomenal. I want to congratulate Brother David, Brother Big Dave Sea, and Brother Vaughn, DJ Rockwell. I'm on their 100th episode. I've been here since the beginning, seeing the brothers as they grow and flourish and evolve from a concept to fruition, and now the 100th episode. So congratulations, my dear brothers.
Everything that needed to be said was said tonight, and it's only the beginning.
So the 100th episode of the DJ Rockwell Show was absolutely amazing.
And I look forward to continuing the conversation during the 50th year anniversary. Long live hip hop. Long live Muhammad.
I just wanted to say that it's a good event. I think this is dope, landmark to mark the 100th episode. I watched pretty much all the episodes.
And thank you all so much for watching. Peace.